Pressure. Many of you guys aren't putting enough pressure on your shoulders. You know, if you really want to grow, which I assume that you do because we're connected on this page here, that's the type of people that I attract into my life, growth-seeking individuals. And if you want to grow, you need some more pressure on your shoulders. Because pressure is the only thing that gets you through the stages of growth and into freedom. You see, there's 4 stages to personal transformation in life. There's breaking out of the comfort zone. There's bursting through the terror barrier. There's grinding it out and putting one foot in front of the other in the pain cave. And then in the hardest spot, the most difficult spot, lies the potential barrier. This is the area where you feel so defeated and discouraged. Not only do you want to go back home, but you never want to try again. These 4 stages, these 4 areas are opportunities for you to break free from the invisible prison that you're inside of. Listen, I've discovered these stages over the years, and I'm a student of life, which maybe you are too. I've watched people grow, I've watched people stay stagnant, and I've realized that it's within these stages that people get trapped. I learned about these when on a 103-mile race. I signed up for this ultra race on a Sunday. 6 days later, I ran the race. No training, no preparation. And I finished the race. Not only that, but it was in the Colorado Rockies at 11,000 feet. Can you imagine 103 miles in the Colorado Rockies at 11,000 feet? It was a grind. But I received a complete physical and mental transformation out on that race. But you know how it happened? I was sitting on my couch and I was scrolling through Instagram and social media like many of us do. And I saw somebody running ultras. And I said, man, that looks inspiring. One day I'm gonna be that guy. One day I wanna do that. But no, I don't live in a state of want. I live in a state of action. I live in a state of execution and stretching. That's my belief. Because I know through stretching and execution, that's how you change your life. So I took immediate action. I signed up for the race, and right afterwards I gulped. I was like, oh shit, Jeremiah, what the hell did you get yourself into? Immediately wondering if I had signed up for suicide. So I called a friend and I said, listen, dude, I signed up for this race. Am I gonna die out there? He asked me, he said, how long have you been training? What's your train up been like? And I said, I haven't been training. I actually been in this deload where I'm weightlifting. And he's like, all right, what's your mileage at this week? And I said, I mean, honestly, it's very, very minimal. We discussed it. We talked about some of my previous history, and he said, listen, dude, you can do this race and you're gonna complete it. It's not gonna be pretty, but I think you can do it. Just based off of pure grit. This guy knew that in my past, I put myself in positions to challenge myself mentally, physically. And he knew that I was somebody, I had become somebody that didn't back down. And he knew I was a purpose-driven individual. And he said, Jeremiah, it's not gonna be pretty, but you'll make it. And so I listened to him and I went out there and I trusted my intuition and I broke out of the comfort zone in my life. Immediately, I was faced with the terror barrier. I was nervous. I leaned into that anyways. I got out to the race and things got hard. Within the first 10 to 15 miles, I was running straight uphill, completely nauseous, ready to throw up, the biggest headache in my entire life. And I blew up. I was undernourished, running too fast, and I was out of my league. 20 miles in, I was completely broke off, and I thought they were gonna send a medical vehicle to evacuate me off the mountain. But something came over me. My purpose, my direction in life, and the intent for the race came over me. You see, I symbolized this race. I made this race about a symbol for my commitment to my future success. I had some big goals and big dreams at the time, and I said, you know what? These things aren't going to happen now. What can I do to show that I'm committed to the process, and I will go after them and do whatever it takes? And so the race for me symbolized commitment to my future success. And through that commitment and purpose, I pressed on through the pain cave, and things got so difficult, so intense, so dark for me. I got into an area of my life mentally, physically, and spiritually that I haven't tapped into in a long time. And I wasn't there for just 1 minute. I wasn't there for 10 minutes. I was there for hours. I got into the zone that I call the potential barrier. In the potential barrier is where you get emotional. You get emotionally defeated. You want to curl up in a ball. You want to cry. You want to go home. You want to quit. And it's in the potential barrier that I thrive the most. Those are the deep waters that I like to take people to when I train. I like to take myself to when I train. And it's in those deep waters that I find strength. And inside of that race, I broke free of the potential barrier. I got to a spot, I was climbing up this large mountain, and I was about 40 miles in, hand on top of each of my knees. I would take 2 steps and I would want to collapse. 2 more steps wanting to collapse. Nobody was around. Nobody was there to help me. I was alone. I had no running crew. And I kept pressing on up a steep hill at 11,000 feet at mile 40, thinking I was already dead. I felt dead. I felt like I had no physical body, and my spirit was the only thing pulling me up this mountain. And once I reached the top, I was at mile 40. And when that happened, something happened to me. The heaviness, the weight, the darkness that I was carrying, it all went away. Things opened up. Life got brighter. And a little voice came into my head, and it said, "You're going to make this. Holy shit. You're going to make this race." And it was in that moment that I was reborn. I realized that I was holding back earlier in the race, and at mile 20, that wasn't my end. That I had untapped potential inside of me. But what pulled me through and what made me discover that potential was my purpose, my intention with the race, and my commitment to myself to endure and work through the phases of transformation and growth that I talked about. Many of you guys want the freedom that comes from breaking through the potential barrier and trusting yourself and being confident in yourself. But you're unwilling to break free of the comfort zone. You're unwilling to confront the terror barrier. You back out when it's time to put one foot in front of the other in the pain cave. And when the potential barrier hits, well shit, most of you guys never been there in your life. But you know what? You can get there. You have so much potential inside of you. I know, because if I have done that, you can do so much more. You're playing small in life. You're staying in the comfort zone. It's time to update your strategy for where you're going. It's time to take more action, execute harder, and it's time to stretch. Let's work.